r/Airbnb hosts. Thedan says, lost my first item from the listing. It was the extra blanket on the queen bed. I had two of the same ones. One on the bed and one in the closet. I just looked in the closet and it's gone. Searched the house and can't find it. I have several others, but damn people, I have had 2 guests in the listing and cannot pinpoint the date it walked out the door. Oh well, the price of business. OK Introduction 6412 says, we had a guest about a year ago ask if we had a wine opener, and I swore we had one there, but they couldn't find it. I took ours over within the hour. Fast forward to this summer, and we had a returning guest who brought back the wine opener that they accidentally took home with them over a year ago. Such Platform 9464 says, ha, good honest people do exist. Designer Pipe 3548 says, I had my first long-term renter and pretty much lost the entire house. Could be worse, lol. Miniondi says, it sucks because as a guest at an app I do notice the lack of quality or lack of cute or higher end furnishings, but I know it's because people suck and they would steal anything they could. It's also why bowling shoes are so ugly. Open bracket. Jadiga says, after each guest I do a quick inventory and check for any damages. Poor risk management will destroy your profit margins. Constant_courage says, someone stole pots and pans. My guests are on vacation from far away. So, why? Knuckle Cookie says, there'll be other things that get liberated, I promise. Werena Vomiting Girl says, not a host, but my last stay the host accused me of taking the remotes and a blanket. I responded that I hadn't. They had the cleaning person go back, and they said they found them. My father had put the blanket in the closet instead of on the bed, and the remotes should have been in the bedside tables where they belonged. I do wonder if my host is lying, that they found them, and secretly still thinks I took them. I think when you have a middleman, cleaning person because you don't live nearby, who do you trust? Vampire Reckon Yours says, welcome to the club. Accomplished Book 95 says, I've had 3 beach towels and 2 pillows, complete with cases snatched. People are very weird. Leaf Luster says, you'll have to calculate the loss of various items into the price. Unless it's a really expensive item and you're sure you can pin it on a specific guest, let it go. Pitiful_ode 2051 says, for some reason that I just can't understand we are always losing plain old dinner cutlery knives at a higher rate than anything else at one listing, and teaspoons at another. Often things like matches or a lighter will grow legs, but it's the knives and teaspoons at different locations that baffle me the most. Reckless Extrovert says, we check everything every time, though our place is pretty small, so that's easy to do. You'll have to put a routine in place that allows you to check for things that have gone missing, but if you can't check every single thing, then plan to check certain things, only to make it a quick sweep. Little things, you'll just have to take the loss on, like maybe a missing fork in the kitchen type thing, but bigger items you can report, whatever you decide to make them. We've lost a couple washcloths here and there, but since those are so cheap, we don't worry about contacting the guest. Since you don't know exactly who is responsible, I wouldn't recommend trying to charge a guest, as others suggested, especially since they could put it in their review, like, host tried to charge me for taking something, and I did nothing of the sort. Horrible experience, and they'll respond that way, whether they did it or not. If you know for sure, then you charge them, and Airbnb will make sure to remove any reviews that are retaliatory, if they do that. r/Airbnb hosts. Lilita says, I made a dumb mistake and agreed to let guest message me off the app. What to do? Due to municipality rules, I've had to switch from short-term rentals to mid-term rentals at a huge loss of money. I'm renting out my basement to help pay my massive Canadian millennial mortgage, not to get rich, so don't come at me, haters. I got a 6-week guest who seemed very cool and normal. He asked for a discount and explained his business partner would book next month too. Mistake number 1, believing him. He immediately showed signs of being a needy AF guests. I chalked it up to him being Indian and coming from a home filled with family and servants. Canada is lonely in comparison, I get it. After a couple days, he asked to message me off the app BC, it's easier. I said sure BC, I really thought it was gonna be okay. Then he started hitting on me. Asking to be his 6-week GF. Blah blah, barf. I don't want a bad review, so I politely decline repeatedly and tell him I'm in a relationship. He's relentless though. It's freaking exhausting to constantly say no. No, I won't go for dinner with you. No, I won't have tea with you. He's 30. I'm 40. He even went so far to tell me he joined Hinge.io find my dating profile, but couldn't find me, has taken to sending messages, which I take as buffer reading, to not give him any false impressions of interest, and then deleting them. In like WTH is he typing and then deleting? There are 2 weeks left. I went from being a warm and friendly superhost to direct answers which he took offense to. How do I get out of this mess without a bad review? Here's a third guest to feign niceness and the impression of being a repeat guest when they really just wanted me to sleep with them and provide free lodging. I'm not flirty, don't dress sexy, I'm never seen by guests even dressed up or made up. I'm always in sweats with a pony. Stoned Old Chiller says, you must know somebody or know somebody who knows somebody who is huge with a constant barely contained steroid-induced rage and looks like they could kill a man with their bare hands without raising a sweat. Bonus points if it's a woman. Add your new partner to your red photo and mention them in your profile. This will never happen again. Rojadus says, fellow Canadian here, and I have a shared accommodation in my home. I had an extremely similar thing happened when I first started out. A guest who had stayed with me 4 times before suddenly decided on his last day that he was in love with me. The problem for me is we're in a shared space, so it was much more difficult to get away from him. Leaving stuff out, but the long and short of it was, after a day of getting more and more explicit and handsy, I was in the bathroom. He went into my bedroom and brought all sorts of things including a huge box of condoms so that we could watch TV together in my bed. I came unglued and yelled at him and told him it was completely inappropriate. In my case, I contacted Airbnb's safety department. I told them that I no longer felt safe in my own home with this gentleman due to his behavior. They were willing to help me cancel the rest of his stay, and he was not able to leave a review. I believe in my case he was even taken off the platform. So my recommendation to you is to contact Airbnb's safety department. Let them know what's been going on and your fear for your safety in your own home. See what kind of support they will give you. Gerald22 says, this is easy. Tell him that you are taking this back on app and that you are blocking him from your personal account. Go back to the Airbnb app and say the following, hi guest, I just wanted to make sure that you are comfortable with your stay. Sincerely, this puts everything back to the Airbnb app and you are asking for a professional response first. Some guests are just creepy. Hopefully switching back to the app halts the inappropriate comments. Neana65 says, cancel the booking and block him on the app. What is the review going to say if he never actually stayed there? Used _cobbler _40 to 24 says, you can change your WA privacy to exclude him from ever seeing you on and just tell him it was hacked, you were unable to recover it. Then send a message on Airbnb to him asking about his accommodations. He'll be none the wiser. Lilita says, I want him off my WhatsApp. I don't want him texting me. I'm afraid he will get pissed and leave a bad review if I take him off. Okay, indication 7876 says. He will probably give a bad review because you didn't engage with him, so keep yourself safe. One more comment like that just say you need to keep this professional and have to block him from your phone and go back to on-app communication. Save all your messages. If you get a bad review you can use them to try to get it removed. r/Airbnb hosts. TX_Rooster says. Weird guest inquiry today regarding no pets policy. Had a guest attempt to book a 5-night stay at our place for 2 adults and her dog. I have instant booking turned on, so when she added a dog, I assumed that Airbnb did not allow he to instant book, but rather sent me a request to deny or accept their booking. Her message seemed odd. I'm sorry to bother you, but I put in 2 guests and 1 small chihuahua and was a little confused about the house rules stating no pets. I mean, what's confusing about no pets allowed? I denied the request with a simple message of, hi, guest name, absolutely no pets are allowed. We will not and cannot make an exception to this policy. But I guess this leads to a question about my posted house rules. Other than simply checking the no pets checkbox, should I implicitly add additional rules/context/penalties in case someone decides to just bring their little dog anyway? Perhaps something such as, no pets of any kind are allowed on our property. Violations of this policy will result in your reservation being terminated immediately, and you will be responsible for a $500 pet cleaning fee. TX_Rooster says. Our Airbnb space is a full apartment above our large detached garage on a working 20+ acre alpaca and llama farm. The no pets policy isn't just because we don't want the headache of cleaning up after your dog in the apartment, but also because llamas and alpacas hate dogs and might attempt to harm your dog. We also don't want your dog attempting to harm a livestock. Tessim Flaws says. I interpret her comment as your listing came up in a general search when she plugged in a pet in the guest field, like she assumed that when she searched for listings with a pet coming the site would only show her pet friendly listings. Is it possible there is a setting that has your listing as allowing pets or pets considered? Otherwise it shouldn't have come up in her search at all. Extreme Onion 6731 says. In your situation, you may want to contact Airbnb regarding getting a service dog exemption as well. And then include that in very clear language in your listing. You can also add to your house rules that bringing a pet will result in immediate eviction without a refund. Onart 184 says. Yes, I have it spelled out in the description as well. Trauma Team 22 says. Pets found on premises will be euthanized at guests' expense. Post that and there will be 0 misunderstandings. Re-Editor says. Any way you slice it you're discriminating. The Airbnb experience llama farm I went to had guardian dogs. Not a problem. Re-Editor says. A disabled person should be able to go anywhere a non-disabled person can go. This host is making up some BS to discriminate against people with service animals. Had my service animal going in 8 years and have never had a problem with live animals on farms, zoo, nature centers, wildlife. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.